right, welcome to this explainer. Today we're unpacking the absolutely massive yet incredibly secretive story behind C&A. This is a company that literally shaped the modern retail landscape and revolutionized what you're probably wearing right now, all while keeping its inner workings strictly guarded from the public eye. Let's get right into the foundation of this retail empire.
I mean, just imagine this for a second. What if you were a 14-year-old boy in the founding Brenninkmeijer family, and you were handed this actual ultimatum? You either devote your entire life to the Catholic priesthood, or you devote it to the family clothing business. There was no in-between. It sounds like the plot of a novel, right? But it perfectly sets the stage for a dynasty built on intense loyalty, strict codes of conduct, and an absolute commitment to privacy.
Section 1. A highly secretive foundation. From 17th century merchants to 1841 Sneek. To really grasp the whole foundation story of C&A, we have to rewind way back, long before department stores even existed. In 1661, the ancestors of the C&A founders left their family farm in Germany and started working as traveling linen merchants in northern Holland. And what's fascinating is how secrecy was baked into the family's DNA from the very beginning. Back then, staying quiet wasn't just a quirk. It was a deliberate commercial strategy to dodge heavy customs charges and keep a serious edge over the competition. Fast forward to 1841, and that traveling merchant tradition was finally formalized. Armed with a loan from their dad, two serious-minded brothers in their early 20s, Clemens and August Brenninkmeijer, laid the actual groundwork for a retail empire from a small Dutch town called Sneek. They lived right above their stockroom, carrying their quality wares from farm to farm. Eventually, they used their initials, C&A, as the name and opened their first official retail store in 1860. The foundation was officially set. Section 2. Democratizing the wardrobe, the Industrial Revolution, and ready-to-wear. Now, with the invention of the sewing machine, the whole era of ready-to-wear clothing completely blew up. And C&A jumped on this mass production wave to do something revolutionary. They offered a ready-made ladies' coat for the exact cost of an average worker's weekly wage. Now, that might sound like a lot of money to us today, but get this. Competitors were charging 3 times that amount for the exact same thing. They basically made fashion genuinely affordable for the working and growing middle classes for the very first time. And they didn't just stop at affordable coats. They literally built the modern retail experience step by step. We're talking about the invention of the fast fashion structure we take for granted today. They figured out that taking a tiny profit on a massive volume of items was the real secret to growth. They pioneered fixed price tags so you didn't have to haggle, introduced standardized return policies, and continuously poured their profits into wild new innovations like mechanical cash registers, early print ads, self-service shopping, and even escalators in their stores. Section 3. Expanding the fashion empire, crossing borders. From there, the expansion was just staggering. After completely dominating the Netherlands out of Sneek and Amsterdam, they set their sights on Germany, opening a massive department store in Berlin by 1911. And they didn't stop there. By 1922, they had crossed the English Channel and planted a flagship store right on Oxford Street in London. They were an unstoppable retail force, just rapidly copy-pasting their winning formula across major European hubs. Section 4. War, Survival, and Controversy. The Darkest Era. Of course, that explosive expansion hit a terrifying wall in the 1930s. Looking impartially at the historical record, as the Nazi regime took power in Germany, the Dutch Catholic Brenninkmeijer family faced an existential crisis. To protect their business interests and secure government permits to open new branches, the company heavily compromised. In their applications to the regime, they deliberately stressed their distant German roots and pointed out their pre-Nazi history of anti-Jewish hiring practices, navigating an incredibly dangerous political landscape just to ensure their survival. But despite all those efforts to appease the regime and protect what they built, the war brought absolute physical devastation. By the end of 1945, bombing and combat had reduced 15 of their 17 German stores to total rubble. Just 2 survived. On top of that, the 1940 invasion of Holland had completely severed their British stores from the continent. Emerging from the ashes of the war, they faced a brand new challenge. The government in liberated Holland demanded to inspect the company's wartime financial records. So, how did the family respond? To protect their fiercely guarded privacy, they completely converted C&A from a limited company into a highly secretive, fully private concern. They actually repeated this exact same move in Germany a couple of decades later to dodge new disclosure rules there, permanently cementing their modern tradition of running a massive global empire in total secrecy. Section 5. Rebuilding the Global Brand. The Modern Retail Juggernaut.
The post-war years, especially the 50s and 60s, were an absolute boom time, particularly with the German economic miracle in full swing. But the family members pulling the strings? They stayed completely out of the spotlight. Whenever the media tried to press them on their private family wealth or how the corporation actually functioned on the inside, they would just expertly deflect with this one famous motto: "We let our merchandise speak for us."
But as we all know, past dominance definitely doesn't guarantee future success. While they were crushing it in places like Belgium, France, and Brazil, they hit a massive roadblock in the UK. C&A was notoriously sluggish when it came to adapting to modern consumer fashion trends, largely because all their buying operations were highly centralized over in Germany. By 2001, they had lost so much ground to trendier competitors that they were forced to completely shut down all 109 of their UK stores, a really harsh lesson for the resale giant.
So, to protect their immense wealth from the unpredictable swings of the fashion industry, the family made a huge structural pivot. Today, C&A is actually just one piece of Kofra Holding AG, a deeply diversified parent conglomerate based in Switzerland. They've funneled their historic fashion profits into a massive portfolio. There's Redevco for real estate regeneration, Brijal Investments managing 19 billion euros in private equity, and Anthos Fund servicing the family's asset management.
And as part of this broader shift, they've been making some major targeted global cuts. They completely exited the UK, pulled out of Argentina in 2009, sold off their China operations in 2020, sold their Mexican business in 2023, and even killed off their formal wear sub-brand Kanda in 2022. They're strategically shrinking their global footprint to double down hard on their core, highly profitable markets in Europe and Brazil. And honestly, that strategy of diversification and regional focus is absolutely working. Today, the famously private Brenninkmeijer family fortune is estimated to exceed an eye-watering $25 billion. That wealth is carefully managed on behalf of around 60 living descendants. Despite all the market exits and shifting global strategies, the core retail engine of C&A is still humming along. Right now, they operate 1,300 stores across 17 European countries, and they're supported by a massive workforce of 27,000 employees serving millions of customers every single day. So what does this all mean for the future? Well, as they navigate e-commerce, strict demands for sustainability, and lightning-fast trend cycles, this is the ultimate question you should take away from this explainer. Can a multi-billion-dollar dynasty built entirely on a 19th century culture of strict secrecy continue to thrive in the hyper-transparent fashion world of the 21st century? It is going to be a fascinating balancing act to watch. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and keep your eyes on the high street.